Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. We started the 4th chapter last week. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Blessed Lord started by saying, I declared this imperishable yoga to Vivasvan. Vivasvan taught it to Manu, and Manu taught it to Ikshvaku. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. Thus handed down in succession, the royal sages knew this. Sadly, by long lapse of time, has been lost here, O Parantapa. So the Guru Shishya Parampara, as I've said, is a time honored tradition. A tradition where the Guru discovers the truth and he holds on to the truth without any anxiety to part with it. There is no anxiety to part with this knowledge. Perhaps that's one of the trademark of anyone who is endowed with any learning. You don't want to dish it out. You don't want to part it unless and until it is sought by the seekers. So the Mahatmas, these great men, passed down this knowledge to those who sought it with great earnestness, with great sincerity. They sought it having renounced the worldly pursuits. They were mentally ready to receive this knowledge. Then the student took it up, received it, made it their own, and thus they handed it down to their disciples. So when did all this start? Krishna says, it started with me giving this knowledge to Vivaswan, who is the very sun god, and he gave it to his son Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, and thereon the knowledge has been passed on time immemorial, where today you and I have access to this knowledge. And then he said, which was thus handed down, everybody knew it, the king sages knew it, the king sages, the royal sages, Rajarshi. It means that everybody in life had this knowledge, everybody had access to this knowledge. Raja, royalty, refers to those who are behind materiality. They are running behind the world. A rishi is one who are interested in the world. they have renounced the world. They are not interested in the worldly pursuits. But royalty are people who are running behind the world. They are trying to amass the world. They are trying to acquire. They want as much as possible. They want to stamp their mark of proprietorship over anything and everything that's possible. That's the life of an entrepreneur. That's the life of one who is trying to find success in the world, in the material world. But the spiritual people are not trying to find success in the material world. They are trying to find success in the spiritual world. So if a spiritual man is endowed with this knowledge, understandable, because that's what they are seeking it. But what he says in the second verse is, this knowledge was so pure, this knowledge was so accessible, this knowledge was so available, even royalty had it with them. Not just the exclusive club of the rishis, even the royal sages had it. Even royalty had this stain or tinge or influence of spirituality on them, in effect, which means the entire society had this knowledge. By long lapse of time, means there was a time where humanity deteriorated. And the effect of this deterioration over a period of time, the result of that is we have lost this knowledge. We have lost this great tradition. We have lost this yoga, this knowledge of the higher. I mentioned, it's worth mentioning, the reasons why we have lost this knowledge is because today religion has got an overemphasis on the non-essentials. The non-essentials of religion are the mechanical rituals. No, the rituals are very symbolic. So what we need to gather is the symbolic representation behind these rituals. But when you don't gather the symbolic representation behind the rituals, they become mechanical. See, everything we do in Hinduism, or for that matter any religion, there is a significance. It has a deeper import. It is conveying something beyond the mere act of performing, the very act itself. When you do something, it means something, isn't it? So when you do something without understanding what it's conveying, then your acts become routine, mechanical, meaningless, purposeless. So the younger generation, they don't understand why we do many things. They don't understand. Why is it they don't understand? Because those who have been following, they themselves don't understand. The parents themselves don't understand. What is the significance? First and foremost, what does a temple symbolize? What is a temple? On what basis is the temple constructed? Why do we have to go through 3 rounds around a temple? Why is it that the temple sanctum sanctorum, where the deity is kept, why is the deity kept intentionally dark? Why do you only have to carry a coconut? Why not any other fruit? Why do you have to remove the entire coir and just leave the tuft of the coconut? Why do I have to put a tilak? What is the symbolism behind burning a camphor? Why Hinduism has got so many gods and goddesses? Why these gods have so many wives? The list goes on and on and on, and I will be surprised if you have answers for all this. And you're convinced that yes, this is what they mean and this is what I am bowing down when I worship Lord Ganesha, or when I worship Goddess Saraswati, or when I go to Hanuman and this is what I am bowing down to Hanuman. Why are you worshipping a monkey? In fact, Hinduism has got many loopholes which other religions attack, and Hindus can't defend themselves because they don't have the knowledge to defend themselves. You fellows are confused fellows. You worship plants and animals, meaningless things you people don't understand what it is. And I am not ridiculing, I am saying they have very, very deep significance. So when you don't understand, you perform them, you are getting into the wrong aspect, the non-essentials of religion. So one is the mechanical rituals, and then the many superstitious beliefs. What is the latest addition to the superstitious beliefs that is being practiced today? Can you update me? I am little outdated. What are the superstitious practices that are prevailing today? Parval, at least a few you can throw at me. Sir, I knew that when I was in the womb itself. My question is, what are the latest trendsetters? Cat crossing, you are saying. Cat crossing I knew in the womb itself. My mother perhaps said that to me in the womb. Latest solunga, latest. Ah. On WhatsApp, that too only on WhatsApp, not any other form of social media. Oh, time limit also. In the next 2 minutes you shall do that. Yeah. Even if you are driving midway, you got to do it. So people nowadays are, even two-wheelers, they are only driving one hand, other hand they are messaging. Maybe they are very busy forwarding, very sincere. Feng Shui. It's a Chinese form of our Vastu Shastra. Imported. No, they have their own madness.
While riding the road, you find it helpful, even that you can show but that is the ego. So it's driving, that's the new one.
Everyone who gives the advice of knowing themselves.
Sorry?
Believing any thing to follow. When the people say, even without they doesn't know why they are doing it, we also follow the same thing.
You don't look what you appear. Looks can be very, very deceptive, especially with reference to Rajima. She has got a teenager's mind and a grandmother's body. Otherwise, who will have, somebody call her ringtone? What is the ringtone? We'll all start doing rock dance here. What rock dance? What is it called that? Rock dance, correct? Rock dancing, I don't know what's the correct word for that. Break dance, not rock dance. Not at all. No, we needed some enlighten us, liven us up, So the blind beliefs, the superstitious practices and the mechanical rituals are one of the reasons why we have lost this great tradition, we have lost this knowledge, we have lost this yoga, as he says. So the overemphasis on this, as a result of which we are not giving the emphasis on the philosophical message, the real essential value systems which every individual needs to be founded on. It's like a foundation of a skyscraper. A human development, a human being should blossom with these value systems, and this should start young and they should be grounded on them. When you are not grounded on these value systems, you get distracted into the non-essentials, you lose the very essential. So Lord Krishna says, as I said, it's a very sad thing to hear when he says that we have lost this knowledge then. So it is a very sad thing to know that such a beautiful tradition, we have lost that because of, I've said another reason. When you get involved with the materiality, what happens? I did ask this question, where we have access to material wealth, what would be the nature of a society which is affluent? Everyone take out your phones and make sure you put it on silent mode. Somebody's phone just got a message. Please everyone take out your phones. I don't know, some message came just now.
The one who gets knows they got it.
Huh?
The one who gets a message, they know they got it. Because that tune is
message tune would be somewhat common.
But somebody's phone got triggered. Just please attend to it. This only happens in India. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
just be kept out. Just be kept out.
So what was you asking?
What do they do?
What happens to a society or an individual which is got access to wealth, which is affluent? What happens? What is the natural consequence of that?
They heed to the indulgences.
You heed to the indulgences. You get drawn away. You become indulgent. You become materialistic. You become very sensual. It's almost you become licentious. That's what is happening to the societies which are affluent. You look at societies which are affluent, they are very licentious, especially the Western community. They are very licentious. Right from the very young age, they have got all access to all what wealth can buy. So they have access to all kinds of indulgences. Secondly, what happens due to that? They get saturated with wealth. They don't understand the value of it. They get saturated to it. And thirdly, what happens is when you get lost in the material wealth, your spiritual values start degrading. You can't build your spiritual character. But that doesn't mean wealthy people are spiritually degrading. We are not saying that, because the text itself says Raja Rishihi. So you don't blame wealth. Even what you have to blame is your inability to handle wealth. When you don't handle wealth particularly well, you get lost into it. So these are a few reasons we did mention why we have lost this tradition. Okay, so I just given a little reference to what we covered last week, so that you all who have come for the first time also can join the session. Okay, verse 3. Sayevayam maya tedhya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam sayevayam maya tedhya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. That same ancient yoga has been taught today to you by me. Why? Because you are my devotee and a friend. Rahasyam hetam uttamam. This indeed is the supreme secret. Rahasyam. Uttamam. Uttamam is supreme, top secret. Now when somebody says, I am giving you a secret, I am telling you a secret. Now this word secret has been misunderstood, because you can interpret a secret in a few ways. Gayatri, I am telling you a secret, huh? Yes, Guruji. Secret na another, okay, I tell you something. And then, since I say it's a secret, what is your understanding of secret? Having told what it is, your understanding of secret is, you can think it is something which is not known. I have told you something you do not know, but it's a secret. Or you can also mistake it to be something that shouldn't be told out, that shouldn't be told to others. That's a secret, isn't it? Top secret. Rahasya. Madhua pesungo. Very softly speak, others should not hear. Now what happened, this again has been misunderstood, because when the Mahatmas said it's a secret, what they did, they kept it to themselves. They didn't give it an open entry to everyone to come and receive this knowledge. It was just given to a certain classifications of people, to a certain quality of people, perhaps only the Brahmanas. They are only people worthy or deserving of this knowledge. So if you belong to a Vaishya or a Shudra or a Kshatriya, you are not qualified. It is not meant for you, because it's a top secret. It is meant to be kept a secret. Now when they said it's a secret, it is something which you do not know. That doesn't mean you shouldn't speak. They thought you shouldn't speak, and they spoke only to those chosen few, and it has lost its applicability. This was one of the reasons why this knowledge was limited, restricted. Sadly, even women didn't have access to this knowledge. Again, restriction, misunderstanding. Even today you find there are reasons why women are not allowed to certain temples. Is it not the Shabarimala, Lord Ayyappa's temple? Now whatever be the reason, I am not going into the pros and cons. It has become rigid, it has lost its applicability. It has lost its application of it being Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal principles. Eternal principles applicable to not just to a certain class of people, it is applicable to everyone. So everybody should have access to it. That was lost. Now what here he is saying is, that very same yoga, that very same knowledge is being imparted, taught to you by me. The two qualities of a student that is required, he says, because you are a devotee. What is the quality of a devotee? Bhaktaha. Because you are a bhakta, you are a devotee of mine, he says. Anama? A quality of a devotee is surrender. Very true. What else would be the qualities of a devotee? If there are any, I am not saying there should be.
There are many. In fact, there are many. If you go to Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, it's full of quality.
Even chapter 13 also.
13, I'm not sure, so I won't comment.
In fact, 35 qualities in the 12th chapter and 20 qualities in the 13th chapter and 26 qualities in the 17th chapter. Put that calculation together. What's the math? 35 plus 20
55,
plus 26.
81.
81 qualities of a spiritually evolved or an evolving person. 81 qualities. Buffet, you have got a spread of qualities to choose from. I would not go into those, but you can be quite right when you say that true trademark of a devotee is complete surrender. And what is surrender? When does one surrender? Hmm? Surrender happens when? When you know that you don't know. Yes.
Faith, complete faith in the other.
When is it you would have complete faith?
When you
That's
know
the question.
that he has more knowledge than what I have.
So surrender or unquestionable faith you bestow onto the other in areas of your ignorance. If I have a medical problem, I do not know there's something wrong with me, I go to a doctor and then surrender to him and go by whatever he advises. If he says, I think you just need an X-ray, no need an MRI, you wouldn't say, doctor, I don't think X-ray, I think MRI is better. Because I have got a voucher for 70% discount for MRI only. X-ray I have to pay more. So you may have your reasons why you think an MRI is better for me or an X-ray is better, or you thereafter you can't tell the doctor what he should prescribe. You would completely go by his advice. Now where there is a thin line between faith and blind faith. I don't want to slip into that, but I'm only trying to tell. It's not a blind acceptance, but yet you completely surrender in areas you do not know. Now here is an area of your spiritual or spirituality. You go and surrender to a master and say, I do not know what's happening, please help me. You got to surrender. You can't bring your arrogance into this classroom and say, oh, you know, I have been a very successful businessman. Oh, what have you got to say? You don't approach a spiritual guru with your arrogance of your worldly success or your worldly knowledge and try to tell me, oh, what have you got to say? You don't approach. You approach, you will not learn anything. You got to put aside your arrogance or knowing or your success, because this is area of your ignorance. You got to surrender. And Arjuna, in spite of all his success, he surrendered to Krishna. Therefore Krishna says, I am happy to give that very same knowledge which I gave it to Vivaswan. I am ready to teach to you now, because you are my devotee, man. You have surrendered to me. You have passed the test of a student. You are an adhikari. You have surrendered. In fact, if you have not surrendered, means you may come into the classroom to, you may come here to judge my level of understanding, how much, or my level of knowledge, how much does this person know, or you're constantly comparing, evaluating, you're assessing me rather than learning. You will miss the point. And then he says, because you are a very dear friend, a sakha, he says. And who is a friend? What is a trademark quality of a friend in the context? Don't tell me, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Don't say that, please. Mechanically repeating something. See, the quality of a friend is, then devotee, no trust. And devotee, trust is clear, trust and faith is there. Huh?
The communication is at the same level.
Krishna and Arjuna no doubt were friends, but they are different levels altogether. Illingla, and they are different levels altogether.
It's very dear and close to us.
Very dear and close, not wrong at all. No, not that you're wrong, please don't get me wrong. Yes? What's the trademark of a friend?
No difference of opinion somewhat.
No difference of opinion, come what may be. Sorry? Helping tendencies. There's a perfect understanding. Perhaps, in fact, you're all right.
Great love.
Great love, yes. Not leaving that fellow when he's in trouble, huh? Correct. You help him out, isn't it? That's a true friend. You all have to learn something from him. A true friend will never leave. Correct, pa?
छोड़ेंगे कम तेरा साथ न छोड़
Yes, sir?
छोड़ेंगे कम तेरा साथ न
Yes, sir. நீங்கள் ரொம்ப போய்ட்டிக்காக போகிறீங்க. நீங்கள் చాలా పాటలు వచ్చేస్తున్నాయి ఇవాళ రేపు. లాస్ట్ వీక్ ఒక పాట పాడారు, ఇవాళ ఒక పాట పాడుతున్నారు. Right. So you must sing, sir. You are singing, you are like a prose, you are saying song we don't understand. You must sing the song, please.
You sing it to your father.
No, that's why he's sitting next to a friend only, you know. But I can't relate to that song. Chapman, ఏంటి song అది? పాడండి సార్, మీరు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తున్నారు. పాడమంటే మీరు పాడట్లేదు. పర్లేదు చెప్పండి, అది చాలు మాకు. అంతే, ఒక్క సెంటెన్సే కాదు మాకు. छोड़ेंगे हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे छोड़ेंगे हम ఏంపా నీకు చెప్పేసావు, అందరు పాట పాడుతున్నారు. భగవద్గీత క్లాస్ అంటే షోలే పాటలు పాడుతున్నారు. ఏంటి ఇక్కడ? యా మనీష్. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's possible. But see, here you must understand the context of it. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, I am happy to declare this great traditional knowledge to you because you are my friend. A devotee we understand because you have surrendered. Now, in the context of all what you have said, how would Krishna be enthused to give this knowledge? What is that quality of a friend? Perhaps what may be relevant in the direct context of the backdrop of the situation is a friend is one who is willing to sacrifice for the other. He is willing to sacrifice anything for the other. Now, when you want to receive higher knowledge, what should you be ready to sacrifice? Everything. You should be able to sacrifice for the other. That's the quality of a friend. And in order to receive this knowledge, what should you be ready to sacrifice? Sacrifice your notions, your ideas, your understanding, your knowledge, your perceptions, your belief systems. What you think is right.